In my last video, I went over a long list of problems I had with this robot, Nylon Brigade, in my most recent robot combat event. And today, well, I'm not fixing any of those. The reason for that is one other thing I have to change. It's not a problem in itself, but it's getting in the way. So let's come in close and I'll show you what I'm going to do. In between my drive wheels right here, I've got two pieces of nylon. One is attached to the lid and one is attached to the chassis. And their placement is preventing me from increasing the diameter of my drive wheels. Now there's a reason for this piece, and they're acting as a shield for my receiver. And this is the receiver right here. It's a Spectrum AR620, which is the smallest receiver that Spectrum makes in terms of things that would work with our robot stuff, i.e. it has the little plugs for servo connections. It also, as a bonus, has no antenna, which makes it a little bit nicer when it comes to combat robots. So related to this is a comment from my last video by Dean DD6EQ suggesting that I swap over the robot to running a Melanky Nano HV, which is a combination receiver electronic speed controller, and that's actually probably a good idea for many robots. Looking just at the specs straight up, the ESC specs are similar to what the Scorpion Nano can handle, and weight-wise, between the two things I've got right here in the robot, my setup's about 15 to 18 grams, I think, and the Melanky HV is like 3. So there's definitely quite a bit of weight savings going on there. The only practical reason why I wouldn't do that is, well, I've already got a couple $100s of Spectrum radio equipment, and to swap over to the other one, I believe it's a Fly Sky-based system, so factor in radio, spare parts, it would probably be a couple $100 more. And I don't feel like spending that on robot parts right now. I've got better uses for that money. So that brings me to what I'm actually trying to do today, which is crack open the plastic case around the AR620 and go ahead and just reduce its size just enough so I don't need to have that little extra piece of plastic sticking out between the drive wheels. I never remember how the receiver cables go back in the receiver whenever I take it apart, and I got to fiddle with it for a while. So easy solution, let's take a picture of it with my phone. And for the record, before we start taking things apart, 8 grams for the complete AR620 receiver. Now looking at the receiver, I don't think it's going to be too hard to get this thing apart. I'm seeing a tab on either side of the case, and then when I go ahead and press that in, it's probably going to allow me to separate the outer case into 2 parts. This might be slightly more trickier because I might have to kind of simultaneously press the tabs in, or at least press this side in, hold it open, then very carefully swap it over and press the other side in. So let's try that. I've got the case kind of cracked here in 2. It's currently bent and hinging on a sticker on the bottom. If I could read probably the lettering and wording on the bottom, if it wasn't covered with a bunch of sticky residue from 2-sided tape, it would probably say something like warranty void if sticker is broken. However, this has come from a combat robot, so I've probably voided the warranty already. If I'm very careful here, I think I can, there we go, I can just kind of hinge the entire case open, and maybe, hey, look at that. I can get the actual receiver electronics itself out from the case. I wonder how much weight I just saved. 3 grams. So I've managed to save about 5 grams by removing the case. We'll take a look at that. With the plastic case removed, obviously the circuit board is going to be quite a bit smaller, and I no longer need the little extension to the chassis that's sitting here in between the wheels. So I can go ahead and remove that, and at some point I need to design a more permanent mounting solution for the new receiver format when I go around to rebuilding the chassis. But for now, I'll probably drill a few holes and use a good old zip tie. Nope, nope, nope. There's a right way to this. There you go. That's the right way. That'll hold for now. So now comes the moment where we find out if everything still works. I used my phone and I made sure the connections were correct based on the photo I took earlier. So let's see what happens. All right, that's a good start here. Let's just slowly drive the wheels forward. Oh, hold on. Well, the drive works. I'm not entirely sure why one motor side is slower to react than the other, but that's probably not due to the receiver, I'm thinking. All right, let's try out the weapon, which, by the way, disclaimer, the weapon motor is not hooked up to the actual weapon right now, so don't freak out. It is scraping on a cardboard box, but the robot still works, and that's the important part. Well, that is all I have for you today. It's a short and fairly simple video, but sometimes those are the most important ones, especially if you're one of the 7 people still left running Spectrum radio gear in the insect weight class. Anyway, I'm glad it wrapped up nice and short here. I'm about to head off and watch some Olympic time trials. Whatever event in track and field tonight is going on, the woman who's supposed to win it, she apparently is my friend's college roommate's daughter, and he likes to make a big deal out of it. So we'll see how that goes. But of course, the only sport that really matters is triathlon, and for that, for Team USA, go Taylor Knibb. She actually has a chance of winning the gold this year. As for the men's side of the USA things, well, yeah, let's be realistic. That's probably going to go to the UK or New Zealand. So, oh well, that's how things go sometimes. So thank you guys all for watching. I'm Jason, the creator of Team Rocket Robotics. I'll see you next time.